Unit 9, Lesson 2, Identifying Information and Search Strategies. This is part of Stage 6 in the PBL process, self-study. This lesson will look at potential sources of information, search strategies, potential sources of information. Prior to conducting their information search, the learner will need to determine where the information resides, or the potential sources of information. Information may be internal to the organisation. It might be contained in metrics, reports, machines, on IT systems, databases, or the employees themselves might have this information. It might be external to the organisation. It may be in benchmark reports, newspapers, research reports, market surveys, membership organisations, or your competitors, suppliers or customers might have this information. Information may also be in a number of forms. It may be textual in reports, presentations or forms, online in social media, emails, IT systems, online reports or minutes of meetings. There might be in human form, which is in the minds of staff, competitors, suppliers or customers. Furthermore, information may be primary data, which does not exist and which the learner will have to gather themselves, or secondary, which has already been gathered for another purpose and which the learner can use to solve the problem. An example of the information sources required to solve a problem. Again, back to our cash flow problem and the learning objective of examining best practices in forecasting. Information sources for the below information needs might be: for the common approaches to forecasting, information sources will often be secondary and may be in external bodies such as the Supply Chain Council, APEX, in academic papers or online free course material. For the information need challenges in forecasting, information sources will be secondary and may be in external bodies again such as the Supply Chain Council and APEX. Also, students might want to gather primary data on other companies' perspectives on their challenges in forecasting. Therefore, they might decide to speak to customers or suppliers about how they forecast and what issues they face. Success factors in forecasting. Here the information sources will be secondary. They may be internal bodies again, such as the Supply Chain Council, APEX, academic papers and courses. Students might also want to gain primary data on other companies' perspectives on their successes in forecasting. And what forecasting approaches do other companies use? These informations will be mainly primary and will involve speaking to companies you work with, your suppliers and customers. You could also search for information on your competitors. Search strategies. For secondary data, much of the information will probably be online. To search for information online, it's important that you devise the correct search strategy. The words which you choose to look for information can significantly impact the results that you get. For each information need, it's important that you identify the key terms and alternative words that might be used. For example, for the information need common approaches to forecasting identified in this, the search terms might be approaches to forecasting. However, other words for approaches might be models, tools, techniques and frameworks. Alternative words for forecasting might be predicting sales or demand forecasting. If you're struggling to find information, it is important that you assess your search strategy you're using. In addition to the correct search terms, you can use search operators to make your search strategy more accurate. Here are some basic search operators. Quotation marks. By putting the phrase in quotation marks, it searches for the exact phrase. A plus sign or quotation marks. In the search engine, common words such as which, that, I, they're not used in the search term. If you want to include these, you can use the plus sign or quotation marks. For example, plus, the common most approaches, forecasting approaches, or in quotation marks. Minus sign. To exclude words from a search, you can use the minus sign. So when you search for forecasting approaches, a lot of weather forecasting techniques were used. Therefore, we will remove this from our search. So you can enter forecasting approaches -weather. This allows you to search for two terms at the same time. For example, forecasting approaches or techniques. Note, this broadens your search and doesn't narrow it. More information at the below website. The text link is also available in the text version of the learning material, which you can click on. A quick tip to narrowing your search. For many search engines, you often have search tools or advanced search terms to allow you to narrow your search further. To use Google, many search engines offer tools or advanced search terms to allow you to narrow your search further. To use Google to narrow your search, you can your search term and press search. In the top toolbar, there's a search tools option, which allows you to narrow your search to a country, a certain time period, or only use exact terms. In the top left-hand corner, there's a cog wheel. If you click on this, it gives you an option of doing an advanced search to enable to narrow your search further. We will now show you how to do this. As a task, I would like you to list the search strategies you use for each of your learning objectives when you're looking for your information online. Record of these to use in your information search. Next lesson, we will look at where to find secondary data and how to evaluate it.